Hello, Akhil. How are you?
Yes. Hi, Rohani. I am good, doing good. Hope you're also good.
Yeah, I'm good too. Can you
Okay,
introduce
sure.
yourself?
Sure. So myself, Akhil. I have 6+ years of experience as a full stack developer. So basically, in my day-to-day work, I work with one stack. In the front end, I used to work with JavaScript, React, TypeScript, and even in the back end, if you take, I work with Node, Express, TypeScript, MongoDB, and yeah, and database. So basically, I'm a one stack developer. I have 6+ years of experience in the software engineering, and
Mhm.
currently I'm working for a company called Cinecron.
Okay, that's great. Okay, Akhil. So this will be a purely JavaScript round. So let's get started. You can share your screen.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you can open any JavaScript compiler.
Yes, I've already opened one company.
Perfect. Okay. So, can you tell me what are promises in JavaScript and a little bit about more about it?
Okay, so promises are asynchronous operations basically. So promises is used to achieve the async operations in the JavaScript. Basically, the JavaScript is synchronous, right? If you want to achieve an asynchronous operations, one way of doing that is using the promise.
Mhm.
And promises has four states: resolve, reject, pending, and fulfilled. So promise can be in any of the state. So we can create the promise using the promise constructor, and the promise constructor will provide us the two methods called resolve and reject. Whenever your asynchronous operation is completed, you can use resolve to resolve the promise, or if you face any error in that, you can reject that. And the errors you can catch using the dot catch, and the success response you can catch using the then. And we have multiple methods to work with the promise, like promise.all, promise.all settle, promise.raise, promise.any. So simply this is about the promise.
Okay, perfect. So, can you stimulate an API using promises? Like, for example, in JavaScript, we have API calls, right? But I'm not giving you the endpoint, but API, what does an API returns basically? Can you stimulate that?
Okay, you are asking me to write some mock function
Hmm.
to show the API call inside the promise. You are asking.
Hmm. Like, like whenever we are doing an API call, right? It is an asynchronous operation, right? So,
Correct.
what does an API call returns?
So the API call will return the JSON basically.
Hmm.
It will return the response inside the JSON format.
But that is, of course, promise, right?
Yes, correct. It's a promise, correct. Because async operations every time returns the promise only.
That's right. So, yeah, you just have to create a promise without using any endpoint.
Okay, without using any endpoint, I need to create one promise which in turns resolve with the API response, something like that, right?
Yes, right.
Sure. So let's just write the program for that. Reject. Uh,
Maybe you can keep explaining the code while writing.
sure.
Mhm.
So basically, as previously I discussed it, right? I am creating a promise using the promise constructor, and promise constructor will give you two methods by default, that is resolve and reject. So inside the promise, we can perform any operations what JavaScript can do. So basically, as we are simulating the API response, right, without using the API endpoint, directly I'm creating one API response
Mhm.
and the JSON object. Here you can keep anything. It can be a user details like my name and my designation, anything. So just for
Mhm.
so now basically what we need to do is that in the real world scenario, right? We will not use like this, but basically I'm just making the dummy response out of here. And finally, what we need to do is that either we can resolve or either we can reject. If you resolve, right, that response, whatever we have created, will be sent back to the dot then block using the dot then block. So you can catch that using the dot then block. So
Mm-hmm.
directly, I'll show you the two cases. For example, if you want to resolve, right, you can directly use resolve, and or else we can do one thing. What we can do is that we can maintain one variable called status. Basically, we will use the status codes.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what we need to do is that then we can resolve with the API response, or else what we can do, we can reject. We can reject with anything. Basically, I'm returning that something went wrong. Now this is what the API looks like with using the promise. Now what we can do is that now we can catch that. Now inside the dot, then we will get that response. Here we can catch the result.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And what we can do here, we can manipulate it, or we can do and for example, if there is an error, right, or
Mm-hmm.
else if it is the dot then block, we can also use dot catch to catch an error. So yeah, so basically this would be an code for that.
Okay, can you run it?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, it is semicolon again. So it's
No problem. Mm-hmm.
static code.
I think just the spelling you can
Oh,
check.
sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can see that here our the status code is 200, we got the response. For example, if our status code is 400 or any, it can be 500 the server error, or it can be 400 the user error. Now it will go into the reject, and the reject will get executed. Something went wrong with API.
Perfect. Okay. I think you know pretty much about promises. So let's make it a little bit difficult now. So
Yeah.
in real world, when we actually like you said you have 6 years of experience, right? So when we actually work in a company and there are large projects, right? So whenever API call happens, and let's say for the first time the API call get failed. Okay, so there is a mechanism that we can actually retry that API. That function would take care of retrying that API by itself, right?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So,
So
hmm.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so let's say we have a API call of getting the user details. Okay, so we are running the API call for the first time and it got failed. But we still need that API is very important to move further steps, right? So we will use some mechanism like a retry mechanism that API will again stimulate it by itself. Again, it will try. Let's say it got failed again, and so again it will try. So we can actually define number of times that if it got failed for 3 times, so we will
Mm-hmm.
call it by itself.
Okay.
Did you actually understood? We can
Yes,
discuss.
yes, I understood the question. So basically, you are saying that whenever you are calling an API, right, if something fails, so the code, so we need to write a code in such a way that it should automatically retries, and that retry also should happen only for the specific number of parameter what we mentioned in the code. So
Hmm.
that is what I'm trying to say, right? Actually, I did not encounter this kind of scenario, but
Ah,
I think this is
got
not
it.
related to JavaScript. I think it can be related to the specific API calls like Axios. Maybe the Axios or Fetch can provide some mechanism to retry. Maybe it can be related to that, I feel.
No, we can actually implement it in the.
Then if you want to implement in the inside the promise, right? Or
Mhm.
else if you want to implement that inside the JavaScript.
Mhm. Okay, let me actually clear the question more. Maybe you can comment this part and let me give you what to like what function you need to implement. Huh.
Sure, sure, sure.
So let's create a function of retry,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it will take three parameters. First is the function, like the function which we have to call when the response, when the status code is basically 200, when the API is successful.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the function we have to call. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
retries. Retries is the number of retries. Like let's say three retries, so API call will retry it for three times.
Understood.
Okay, and the third parameter will be delay. So let's say it will be retrying with after 2 seconds or whatever we can pass here.
Understood. Understood.
Mhm.
Okay. So basically, it is taking callback, it is taking the retries, and it is taking the delay.
Huh.
How can you? Okay. 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 Understood. Okay.
Mhm.
Let me think. I think
Mhm.
I'm getting my mind.
Mhm.
Uh,
So again, you have to stimulate the API. It means you can follow the same which you did before.
okay. So let me try. So
Mm-hmm.
what I was thinking is like,
Hmm.
so basically whatever code we have written previously,
Hmm.
let's just inside one function,
Hmm.
and that function we will pass as a callback to this,
Hmm.
and retry. Let us define one retries variable, and let's just define one delay variable. And
Hmm.
so what I was is that so whenever we are so actually our code will start executing from here 25th line. Okay. So now what will happen is that now first we will execute our function, this API promise,
Hmm.
and API promise. If it is successful, right, it's okay. But if it is failure, right, first we will check the retries. If there is any retries we already available, or retries are also completed. If the retries is available recursively, we need to call the same function.
Yes.
Something like that we can do. I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So let me try that.
Yes. So callback is actually the function. I hope you get that callback, right?
Callback is a function, yes. So
Mhm.
that's why I was saying previous code we need to wrap into a function.
Huh,
So
oh.
just to,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just pasting the code over here.
Mm-hmm.
API. Now basically we will retry with that callback. Sorry, we need to write the and let's just define some variables like
So API mock will return this response or what?
yes, yes, I will modify that function also. I just need to
Oh.
modify that.
Mhm.
Retrace comma delay seconds. Now inside this function. I think I need to pass this. No.
So retry, you have to actually return a new promise constructor, right?
From
And then
wait,
you.
wait. I'm just thinking. Actually, I already have a promise over here. So
Mm-hmm. Because on top of this function, you have to again check the then and catch part, right?
correct, correct. That's why I removed the dot catch over here.
Right.
Okay, and I'm calling the callback over here, and I think I will implement because this callback. Okay, wait. Then of result. So what I'm thinking is that I just call the retry method.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now this retry method is taking this API mock which we have written.
Hmm.
Now this function is just returning a new promise. Okay.
Right.
Now what I call this callback function here,
Mm-hmm.
and this callback function over here, it will either give me a success or it will either give me a catch block. Now what I will do instead of console.logging error, I will check.
Okay, I wanted to point out to one more functionality that when you are calling the retry function, right? So
Correct.
I want I can implement dot then and dot catch
Dot
top of retry as well.
on top of retries.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So initially I thought that directly I will send the result back to the retry. You don't want that actually?
Yeah, that can, you can implement that first, but then we will extend it to that part.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Got it.
mm.
I think first. Okay. Wait. We also need that initial variable how many retries have we done.
Right.
Okay,
Can.
still one more thing I'm missing. One more thing I'm missing. That delay thing I need to do.
Yeah.
That I will implement one. So
Oh.
here I'm just checking the retry count. So
Hmm.
first that I'm whenever we get into a catch block for the first time, I'm implementing the retry count,
Mm-hmm.
and after that I'm okay. Or else, yeah, and I'm checking the condition if the retry count is less than or equal to retries, then only go and retry that callback with that retry. But we need to add the delay for that we can use set timeout.
Yes.
Set timeout, and this set timeout will take this will directly take this retry. I think that's it. Retry with the delay what we have, and
Mhm.
again it the same function again and again. Okay, I think it looks perfect for me. But
I think in the set timeout, you have to implement the callback and then you have to call the function, right?
correct, but anyhow, this is also a function, right? Retry is also a function. So instead of directly, I call this callback function retry with
Okay.
some delay, whatever delay user will pass, so
Hmm.
that it will try again and again until and unless these retries have been completed with this 2 seconds of delay.
Oh.
And for example, if the result has been got right,
Hmm.
uh, So in dot then I'm okay. I understood now whatever you are saying. Here we are returning a result from the dot then. So basically here we should implement dot then dot catch.
Hmm.
So we need to return a promise over here. I feel
Right.
is what now I think I was thinking in this direction, but now I got it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Hmm, is that okay?
Hmm. That callback call part you can implement inside. Hmm.
Okay, now this will be the okay. This callback and all we need to implement inside this resolve comma result.
Hmm.
Okay, we need to yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, now this is the final code. So it will implement the retry mechanism. I feel yes.
You can check the syntax part once. You can maybe run and check.
Sure. I'm checking once again. Dot catch retry count. Okay, I think syntax is okay. I think syntax wise it is correct only when we are calling the retry with the
Hmm.
defined parameter. I
Yeah.
think I'm trying by running it
Yeah.
and let's just give the status code of 400 only so that we can know whether it is retrying again and again.
Hmm.
And here, whenever it is retrying, right?
Hmm.
Let's just print so that we can know retrying is happening or not.
Okay.
Sorry, I took time, but basically,
This is fine actually. It was a hard question, so that's fine.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just run this. Oh, okay. One minute. Huh? I'm just okay. It is continuously running.
Mm.
Okay. Retry count.
So can you check the set
Yes,
timeout?
yes. I understood.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I think because of let, I feel because of this retry count is not
Hmm. Can we
not
can we actually not use a variable because
sorry.
uh, we are using retry count, right? Can we just reduce this
Or
variable?
else we can yes, we can reduce the variable.
Yeah.
Or else what we can do?
In the recursion itself, can you try to do it?
Yes, or else retries.
Yes.
minus one, and okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's retrying for three.
Trying three times.
Hmm. It's retrying for three times and then it is.
We're trying one. I'm just checking what the callback organization type function. This is an instance of promise. I think it is performing one more time.
So check the set timeout part. So, so your program is working fine. It's just that it is promises getting rejected and we are
Promise
not.
is getting handling that, I feel.
So inside the set timeout part, okay,
Mhm.
you can handle that first.
Also, I am directly in the catch.
Yes. Maybe put a else and check if else is there, right? Means you can put a else and see if it's going down.
Or else
Yeah, reject.
it is failing.
Hmm.
Callback argument for type function is an instance of promise. Yeah.
In the set timeout, we have to give a call back and then we have to call the function.
Three, two, one. One. Give me just a minute. I'm just.
Yes. So retry is also a like it's returning a promise, right?
Correct.
And on the 32 line, we are calling the retry. So can we do dot then and dot catch on that also, on retry part? Because that function might be rejecting, right? And it is not able to get a hold of that.
This retry function you are saying, right?
But this retry function we are calling in recursion as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's saying here
Hmm.
retry.
So this is the
Lim-
reason inside set timeout, pass a callback and then call this function. Hmm.
yes.
Hmm. Yes.
Mm.
You can just pass the resolve and reject inside it, right? Yes, resolve. We are getting it from the promises.
Mm. Return.
You have to pass the resolve variable, right?
Yes.
Because down we will be calling this later, no? So, that was correct. Resolve and
Inside the dot, then you're asking me to pass resolve.
yes. So that down, whatever you will be passing, that will get, or you can pass any message also, whatever you want.
Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understood what you are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Automatically, if you pass any message, it will automatically get resolved. So,
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
failed.
Failed.
Correct.
But
So
what?
actually, we implemented the dot catch over here. I think we need to implement here. That we missed it out.
But I want ki on the 45th line, right?
Uh-huh.
Retry function is there. So can
Uh,
we do something ki dot then and dot catch should be implemented in that? Because that function will be used whenever we have to call this whole section. So that can be reusable then, right?
so there we need to catch the error and there we need to get the result. That is what you are saying.
You can just like dot catch, right? On the 46th line, you can
Yeah.
do dot then also there,
It
and
is
from
back.
there we should get the result. So it can become reusable.
Yeah. Yeah. That is okay, but
Hmm. So you have to do something in the 34
yes,
and
yes, yes.
5
Okay.
line.
Okay, I think um, it is retrying. Now retry has failed. So basically, it is coming the error from here.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. So can you explain the 47 and 48 line? How does that work and how did
So
you?
basically what I'm doing is that we are doing the recursion functions, right? So
Yes.
whenever we are doing recursion functions, so
Mhm.
basically every time in the main API mock function, we are doing the reject.
Oh.
So whenever this reject is encountered, right, the call will come to this catch,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
is present inside the set timeout. Now, whenever this catch has been encountered, now here also we are doing a reject.
Hmm. Okay.
So this catch, give me a minute. That
Hmm.
thing. Okay, now it is this reject will encounter, right? Now we are in the recursion loop, right? This reject will go to the previous recursion item.
Okay.
So what do you mean that? Because it is in the recursion state, right? Because we are in the third stage. Here we are recursing, it will go to here.
Hmm.
Now
Right.
finally go to here, and finally this reject will come, and here it will bring that error.
Okay. So, for example, let's just make the API successful in the first go. So, yeah, status code. Mhm. So, there is no result message, right?
Okay, but then of result else reject. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, it is resolving, and if it is directly resolving, it should come to this callback.
Mhm.
Okay, so we forgot to resolve, so I disabled.
Okay. I believe it will work fine. It was really nice interview with you, Akhil. I mean, you did a great job. You were able to solve a really hard JS round. One feedback could be from my side is that initially when you started solving, you just started solving and you were not explaining. But then I told ki you can explain line by line, and then you started very properly. So this may not happen in a real interview. Like interviewer will not tell you to explain, right? So I know we are a little like we are not that conscious in an interview, right? But
Correct.
we should try to remember this point.
Sure. So that is what I learned from this interview.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever this helps me a lot. Whatever we have done this in this one in 1 hour, right? So it helps me a lot.
Great, great. That's great. Do you have any question or would you like to tell anything to the audience who are actually preparing for their next JS round?
Yes,
As
yes.
you have, yeah.
Correct. Actually, before the interview, I was really confident that I am working with JavaScript from the past 6 years. So I thought that I can solve 90% of the questions. But when we actually come into the this interview, right, then we may lose something. Even so I think I would request everyone to try this with the persons whom you think better than you, so that at least you will get to know or you will learn something. So don't be in a mode like I know I can crack, but at least try the mock interviews or the interviews like this what you have done to me, so
Mhm.
that it will help, or we can also improve ourselves a lot by. So I suggest everyone to take this.
Right, that's great. So even like you said, right? We are confident. Like most of we are confident after learning all the JavaScript concepts.
Yes.
But the interview setup is like completely different, right? Like
Bit different.
whatever concepts we learned, it's not that that will actually hit in an interview or not.
Correct. So we
Right.
need to know each thing. So previously we were in the coding question, what we are doing, we were lacking in the reject. So we need to know pinpoint where we are missing, where we missed the reject. We sometimes missed the reject. So I think we need to know everything about the asynchronous programming of the JavaScript. Then only we can solve this. I felt that. So yeah, that's the thing.
That's great interacting with you, Akhil. Thank you so much for actually taking this up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.